Good morning. This is Don with Journey to Truth. I wanted to start out by thanking Yahuwah for allowing me to start this new channel. This is something I've been thinking and praying about for quite some time. So for this presentation, I want to start out by talking about how I woke up back in 2017. Let me give you some background first. I was raised Baptist since I was a child. I was saved and baptized at age 8. I always knew there was a God, and I knew there was a spirit world. I grew up in a public school setting, and I grew up in a traditional Baptist church setting. I went along with the teachings in the good and the bad, and I hung out around people, good and bad, and I made good and bad choices. But somehow I knew there was a better way, and that there were real boundaries and life-changing rules. I was taught a lot of things, but in my heart, I knew better. I have seen and heard a lot of contradictions along the way, but somehow I knew that through the written word and through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, I would find stability, truth, life, and everlasting hope. Let's get into it. Back in 2017, I was in a crossroad of sorts. For the past 15 years, I've been in church and then churches and then out of church for seasons. I developed my own belief system and was pretty much a self-made man at this point. I've been through a lot of experiences in the past 15 years. Thank Yahuwah, my wife Erica, and my 2 daughters that stayed close by my side. I fell into the deep end for a season between the late 2006 through early 2011. During that time, I went through a spiritual battle that involved severe anxiety and depression. I honestly thought I was visited and judged during this time. One day, back in 2011, I took a long trip from Decatur and I walked all the way to Cassopolis. I almost didn't come back, but I knew that I had to make a choice. I honestly believed that I was rejected by Yahuwah. While at a lake, I thought to myself, my family needs me, even though I'm a train wreck. That evening, I started walking back. The next morning, I was a couple miles from Decatur, and I was pretty worn out from the walk at this point. A stranger happened to pull over and offered me a ride into town. This was Sunday morning in April. I thought to myself, this guy must be an angel. I never seen him again, and he had an interesting story about why he was heading towards Decatur from Cassopolis. I had made up my mind. Even though I was a wreck, I determined to go back to my family and take care of them the best I could, even though I was shattered inside. Things changed. I gradually got better. Things got better. Relationships got better. I was able to hold down a job and move into better jobs along the way. My family and I worked as a team and started getting places in life. We got back into church and worked together. There was a sense of stability and progress until the year 2014. We were attending a church at that time, and we seen it recently start to fall apart, but not completely. At one point, I had to fill in and preach a handful of Sunday morning sermons as a deacon. It was quite interesting and rewarding. Nevertheless, I wasn't meant to stay there. For some reason, the idea of rest was in the forefront of my mind during that season. So I preached about it one Sunday morning while I was filling in. I missed that church, and I missed the people and being involved there. It was definitely a family-oriented and loving group of people. My family and I finally left that church and started visiting and attending other churches. They were all pretty much the same, but still had their differences and nuances. We've made friendships along the way and made new connections and learned a lot about their territories. Deep down inside, we still felt like outsiders and could not make some of the connections. A lot of internal conflicts were there. For the most part, the written word, the Holy Spirit, and life experiences guided us, but we still had more to go through and more to learn. In 2017, we've been attending an apostolic church for about a year or so. The people were very friendly and family oriented. They were more spiritual than the Baptist churches I've attended in the past. Something was still missing. There was a cost to attending this church, but it was for our own good. It made us question a lot of things we were taught growing up and challenged our foundational beliefs. We were put to the test. We suffered a lot of doubting and questioned our faith. It even created some division in our family. We began to test their doctrine, and we were tested. In the process, we sorted out some details and found some solid ground. On a good note, for whatever reason, the pastor put out the challenge to read the whole Bible in 1 year. Now, I've heard this challenge before, but it didn't mean a whole lot until I came to this particular church. I made up my mind and started reading from cover to cover. It took me about 2 years, but I took my time. I wanted to truly understand what I was reading and wondered how it could apply to us. In July 2017, I was in the middle of some serious scriptural research. I was curious about the creation account of the earth. I was in YouTube and was checking out Kent Hovind videos. In the process, I stumbled across some flat earth videos. I prayed about it and then started checking them out. I had a Christopher Columbus flashback from 5th grade when they were talking about ships falling off the edge of the earth. Back then, I ended up looking at Eric Dubé's, Rob Skiba's flat earth content and some other names at that time. I was drawn in, and I kept going down this path. The further I went, the clearer my thinking got, or at least the ideas presented made more sense than what I was taught in mainstream life. This got me wondering and questioning a lot of things. I went on a research rampage during the month of July, back in 2017. We went to Lake Michigan. I walked up to the top of the dunes and looked across the horizon. With my own 2 eyes, I said to myself, surely the earth is flat. Later on, I went to prove a lot of other things to myself with the help of the Holy Spirit and the written word. It was like Yahuwah woke me up and gave me a new type of lens to look at life through. So stay tuned as I try to bring you more relevant content. Check out my playlist while you're here. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. If you felt led to help this channel in any way, please pray about it first. You can reach out to me by email at leapyear.drc276@yahoo.com. Thanks for watching, and shalom.